third trailer that we have set up is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Okay, Ori itself was actually a breakout indie title that was that hit Steam and a lot of the other games via digital. It looks like the sequel is set to come out, and that is actually going to be a Microsoft exclusive, an Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive. All right, so it's not going to be on Steam. It's not going to be on PS4. It's going to be available on your Microsoft Xbox One and also your Windows 10 marketplace. Okay. Hopefully, I'm just going to say this: as far as it goes, if you're giving me incentive to go ahead and get a hold of an Xbox One, this helps. All right. And I got to say, this is something that we're going to touch on when we go over the overview. When it comes to exclusives, as far as making an exclusive effort, Microsoft has shown that they've at least listened somewhat to the folks out there, and they're making an effort. Okay, but we'll touch on that in depth in a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and let's look at this particular trailer right here. If you're following along, again, hit play when I tell you to. On 3, 2, 1, and play. Of course, ESRB and the Xbox exclusive.
I right off the bat, since I played Ori, the first one, it is a beautiful, beautiful game that actually uses the environments and it actually touched your heart soul, a little bit. You're like, damn, this is fucked up.
Well, the funny thing about this particular game right here, all right, this is one of those games that I got to sit there and say that, this right here proves that art direction and good game design goes a long way over horsepower and fucking resolution, all right? Because the original game itself, no matter what platform you had it on, it was a good fucking game,
Shit. What is it with spiders, man? Another one.
And the thing is that it looks like this particular demo or this particular trailer is moving at 60 frames again. There's.
What I noticed too is the music soundtrack is great. Although the first game was great too, the soundtrack was Yep. Damn.
Yep.
It's like, what's going on with that owl?
He's just looking at shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Look at that in the background. Yeah, man.
And then you have
Ori.
Yep.
So obviously they lost somebody, it looks like.
Well, they lost.
Like they lost everything.
Yeah. I mean, and the music, like I said, it just fits.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is one of those games where a lot of, when people sit there, all right, I'll let this go ahead and finish up. All right, so this particular one is actually the release date is to be determined.
Play it on Xbox One.
For the Xbox One X and like I said, the Microsoft platforms and everything. So there isn't a release date for Ori and the Will of the Wisps just yet. But yeah, I have to say, as far as this one goes, this is a good get for Microsoft. Okay, as far as being able to sit there and offer things on Microsoft, the Xbox One and also the Windows Marketplace and everything else. This is a good get for them. The Ori came out and it was just a surprise hit out of nowhere, a little indie $20 title. It came out and it took everybody by storm. Caused a lot of manly men to go ahead and shed some manly tears at certain points, and them going out of their way and especially saying that they got a hold of this and that they're pushing this forward as something that's part of their E3 conference really kind of shows that yes, they are willing to go out of their way and get a hold of newer developers and newer projects to go ahead and show off on their particular consoles or their platforms.
What are some of your you didn't mention too much theme. What do you think about this game?
For this trailer, good job in showing those visuals. Good job on the music. good job as to get motherfuckers emotionally involved while they're watching it. Release the game, and I hope the game surpasses what you just showed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was outstanding.
That was deep, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like, damn, they lost.
Because when I was watching it when it was live and stuff like that, I'm like, this is very intriguing. I'm actually interested in it. And then it was Ori. I was like, oh, okay, no wonder.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so just come out with that shit.
And this is one of the few trailers out of all of the ones that we've seen today that I'm going to sit there and say that what you see in the trailer is what you're going to see in game. All right, because when Ori and the Blind Forest came out and they had the trailer and everything else, you're like, oh wow, this looks like a cartoon. This is really, really beautiful. And then you actually start playing the game. You're like, oh, everything in the fucking game is stylized like this. Okay, I can get behind that. You know, so with this particular one, like I said, good get by Microsoft. All right, I think it's a good effort by them. You know, so you know and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go on just a 30-second tangent here. You know, when it comes to folks in there saying, you know, oh, you know, art direction or any of this other stuff. No, art direction can make up for a lot of things. Now, obviously, they've got a lot of hardware to go ahead and back up like the special effects and other things that are there. But there's a reason why a game that looks like Zelda, or better yet, Wind Waker HD, okay, is appreciated at this current day, even though the game was released back in like 2006. All right, it's almost 10 years old. All right, it's because the art direction is really, really effective. And Ori, again, an independent developer went out of their way and they proved that, you know, effective gameplay and art direction can play a lot for your game. And Microsoft, they went ahead and they snatched them up. I gotta say, I'm much happier that Microsoft went ahead and snatched it up for rights to publishing it over EA, because that would mean, you know, somewhere down the line, the development studio that created Ori and the Blind Forest would disappear and be gobbled up corporately. But with this, you know, I'm happy.
One thing with Ori is that the visuals and the music are a character in itself. Yeah, you have Ori the character, but the visuals and the music, those are separate characters too, and it's a beautiful blend of all three together. And you're sitting there, like you mentioned earlier, Manly Tears, man. That Ori and the Forest, that was a sad game. You were like, damn. And I highly recommend you play that game if you haven't. Just,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's going to be worth it. Right now, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the sequel, is set to be determined as far as release date. So, you know what? Look, if it's really, really early, it means it'll probably show up sometime 2018, maybe sometime 2019. That gives you a lot of time to go ahead and play the first game. You know?
Yeah, hopefully this don't fucking cancel it. Don't look. I'm dead fucking serious. Don't show us something that fucking good, and then just X. Yeah, like now there's an X before and after your fucking console X. No, don't X this out. You fucking keep it as beautiful as you just shown. Hold nothing back, and you just release that shit so motherfuckers can play it. Please.
We're gonna have room for those particular comments and rants in actually the next video that we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this particular one up, folks. This is actually our part one of our review for the Microsoft E3 2017 press conference, or their briefing as they called it. All right. There was a really big play on terminology that they used throughout the whole fucking press conference, and we'll touch that too. But what we want to know is that what were your thoughts on the briefing? If you don't want to go ahead and wait until the last one that we do, which does the overview, what are your thoughts on the games that we showed the trailers for, that we looked at in this particular video or past few videos, depending on how the guys are going to go ahead and split it up? We want to know. Tell us by leaving us a comment below. While you're at it, hit like, hit subscribe, especially if you like what we're doing. We really appreciate it if you decide to go ahead and stick around and subscribe to our channels. We really, really do. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring this one to a close right here. I am the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Gray Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.